Hello, my name is Roger Royce, and I thank you for this opportunity to present the patient experience as a patient with multi-cancer early detection testing to the Food and Drug Advisory Committee meeting being held on November 29, 2023. I'm a pancreatic cancer patient, and I want you to know that I do not believe I would be alive today without multi-cancer early detection. I want to say that again because I want you to understand how important this is. I would be dead right now without multi-cancer early detection, in my opinion. I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer 18 months ago. I am now 18 months past that with no evidence of disease. I'm 1 year past surgery with no evidence of disease. One of the things my doctors all agree on is that had I not caught this when I did, it would have progressed without symptoms and without signs. I never would have known until the last stages of my life when it would be too late for them likely to be able to do anything for me. I first found out about multi-cancer testing in April of 2022 rather, April 2022. I read about a liquid biopsy known as the Gallery test by Grail in April. I immediately contacted my primary care physician and asked that he order that test for me. He refused to do so on the basis that he thought it was unnecessary testing as I had no symptoms, I had no signs, I had no risk factors, and I had fairly recently undergone a sonogram that found nothing wrong with me. I went to a second doctor and said, look, I'd like to get this test, this liquid biopsy for cancer, not because I have any symptoms or signs, but to set a baseline and to make sure that there's nothing wrong with me, purely for preventative purposes. That second doctor also refused to order that test. I eventually did get the test in late June of 2022. It cost about $1,000. Insurance did not cover it. And it took about a week to get results, which were that they picked up signals for pancreatic cancer as well as some other cancers. That was the last week in June when I had that call. By the middle of July, I was in chemotherapy at a major medical institution. I was in treatment. So it definitely was accurate. It was definitely correct. And it probably, was not a moment too soon. Now, I want you to understand that I had no symptoms, I had no risk factors, I had no signs, and I had no doctor that was willing to prescribe this, at least initially. And in fact, I've recommended several of my friends and family to get this test, and that is a response they often get from their doctors. They don't believe it exists, they don't know that it works, they're reluctant to prescribe it because it's not covered by insurance, or it's expensive and the cost is prohibitive for people for getting this. In my case, it cost me a few months. And in pancreatic cancer, a few months is the difference between life or death sometimes. So it is very important that this test be approved by the FDA so that doctors are willing to prescribe it and insurance will cover it. It's very important to do this because without FDA approval, it is an absolute certainty that people are going to die. I might have been one of them. So lives can be saved. Now, I want to tell you that I have since my test and since my results, I have done a little research and I've reached out and contacted the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, which makes recommendations to the FDA about the benefits and harms of specific preventative services. They have twice now recommended against testing for pancreatic cancer in asymptomatic individuals like me. And their basis to that, as they've expressed to me in writing, is that screening tests are invasive, cause pain, and lead to unnecessary and risky treatment. When I told them about my experience, they responded and said that their data was based on literature conducted in 2013 and the 2019, and the recommendations are based on 2019 data. I can tell you that available screening tests are not invasive, they do not cause pain, and they do not lead to unnecessary and risky treatments. In my case, it took 10 minutes. I didn't even stop working. They came to me while I was working. And the additional screening was a simple biopsy, right? A simple MRI followed by a biopsy, none of which I would have had without this blood test. So this is vitally important. I also want you to know that I've been recommending as often as I can to as many people as I can to get these tests. And many people are following up with their doctors and requesting the test. Sometimes they can get them. Sometimes, like me, they have an argument with their doctor and they have to find somebody that will actually give them the test. I don't think we'd have that problem if it were FDA approved. Now, even in my own family, I have an older brother who, in October of 2022, I strongly urged him to get this test. Since I have cancer, he might have cancer. Maybe it's genetic. Maybe we have risk factors. We don't know. He didn't do it. He resisted it. That $1,000 cost is prohibitively high for him. He was in a part of the country where it was less easy to find quality medical care. And he didn't get the test. In February 2023, he was diagnosed with lymphoma, and he actually died just last month. I believe he would, from Burkitt's lymphoma, a disease that is highly treatable when it's caught early, highly treatable. I think that if the FDA had approved this test, and if it were more widely available, the kind of thing that his doctor would recommend, without fear of lack of insurance coverage, I think he would have gotten a test and he would be alive today. And that's just one story. I'm sure there's thousands, probably millions in this country of people who could be saved through multi-cancer early detection tests, especially liquid biopsy, not to mention other types such as MRI. So again, thank you for the opportunity to present. I hope that the FDA will promptly, swiftly, and quickly act on these recommendations. And I hope that multi-cancer early detection tests for diseases such as pancreatic cancer will become every bit as common as they are now for breast cancer and prostate cancer and colon cancer. Thank you very much.